We are just hours away from the NHL roster freeze. That's coming up at 11:59 local time. So that is the last chance for teams to make a move. I'm Kate Petterson, and I'm joined by Dave Pagnotta. And Dave, we've got a couple more hours left. There could be some action, and we're going to break all of that down because this is the latest on the fourth period presented by CCM Hockey. All right, well, that roster freeze will be in place until the end of day on December 27th. So if teams want some action, they've got to get it done now. And a team that has had a lot of action thus far is the New York Rangers. They have now sent Capo Caco to Seattle, which leaves them with over $7 million in cap space. And we're hearing that they're not done there. So what are they looking for now?
They want scoring. They bring in a defenseman as part of the Caco deal to kind of shore things up and try to stabilize things a little bit on that back end. But it frees up another spot in their top six, in their top nine, really, that they've already been looking for. And with additional cap space that they now have, it's going to allow Chris Drury to be a little bit more aggressive. Now, whether he pulls off a trade in the hours leading up to the roster freeze as we're recording this, I guess we'll wait and see. But that's not going to stop the activity out of MSG. Drury and company are going to continue to look at options later on in the season. They're not punting on the season, but they are looking at making some additional wholesale moves.
Well, over in San Jose, they're in the middle of a rebuild, and that continues. They've got some veteran pieces that they could move, and one guy to look at in particular is Mikael Granlund. He's got a $5 million cap hit. He's set to be a free agent this summer. Do you think that they're looking at extending him, or is he a guy that they may be looking to move?
Well, those discussions haven't happened yet. I know that, Kate. But those contract talks, are expected to begin once the calendar flips over to January. San Jose, their management team, and Granlund's representatives, Mark Gandler and Todd Diamond, are going to sit down and have a discussion over what an extension could possibly look like. Then the San Jose Sharks are going to have to weigh that value versus the trade market. He's over a point a game. He's been their leading scorer since the get-go in San Jose. He signed a one-year deal strategically. He wanted to rejuvenate his career. Mission accomplished.
All right, another team that has been very active, the Nashville Predators. They had a tough start to the season, and then Barry Trotz started to get to work. Now we saw veteran defenseman Alex Carrier. He's off to Montreal in exchange for Justin Barron. And this morning, ahead of their game versus Pittsburgh, Barry Trotz spoke to the media for nearly 25 minutes. In that time, he said, you know what, I went after Justin Barron. I inquired about him last season, didn't get him. Now he's got a guy that he wanted. And he also said he might not be done. He alluded to the fact that if the right piece came along, he would make a move for that. We've talked a little bit about them needing a 2C. Is that what you envision them going for? Is that the right piece?
That's the piece they want. Certainly, if they can add a second-line center to the mix, that's definitely what Barry Trotz wants to do. I will preface this by saying it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to make a move now or after the freeze. They're going to continue to evaluate their roster. They're not selling, they're not tanking, they're not giving away the farm, but what they are doing is looking to add to this team with focus now on next season. He also indicated that they're going to be active again in free agency come July, so certainly Nashville is going to be a team, if they can't make things work via the trade market, they're going to explore the free agent market and see if they can fill some holes in that respect. Bottom six needs to be addressed. Their decor still, they would like to address that as well, but also up front, 2C, can you get somebody that's a defensive mind on that third line? That's also an area they would like to upgrade.
Yeah, he talked about being strategic and letting some of the younger guys continue to develop, like a Luke Evangelista, and then filling in the gaps in and around some of those key players. All right, lastly, we are here at Scotiabank Arena, so we can't not touch on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've won 4 of their last 5. They are on the road in Buffalo tomorrow night. But the buzz this week in particular has been around conversations continuing with John Tavares in terms of signing an extension, and they could potentially be looking for that second line forward that they need.
Right, so first on that, they are looking, it's no secret that the Maple Leafs, and we've talked about this before, another team in the market for ideally a 2C. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be one of the top guys available. They have the cap in mind. They have to keep the cap in mind, but that's an area, if they can't, they would keep John Tavares at center and then try to bring in somebody to score alongside him with a little bit of physicality and defensive awareness on the left side with him and Willie Nylander, who is now, for the time being, up on the first line with Matthews and Marner. As for Tavares, yes, the conversations are continuing between the Leafs and his camp. Neither side is in panic mode. I think both sides understand they want to get an extension done. He's going to be a UFA in July. I don't know if he gets to July 1st, but I also don't know if they're going to sign in season. Conversation's fluid. They can figure this out at any point. But again, neither side concerned. You're probably looking at something in the 3-year range. 6 to 7.5 per year seems to be the consensus around the league with where the money may fall.
All right, well, we've had a lot of action, a lot more than we expected this
Yes.
early in the season. We're about to take a pause. 5 more days of hockey before that holiday break. Only a number of hours left for teams to make some moves before the December 27th end to this roster freeze. So we'll keep an eye on it this evening and, of course, keep you up to date. And thank you so much for tuning in to the latest here on the Fourth Period. It's presented by CCM Hockey.